And then after that, she had a little boy named Bernard Lamar. Now, he was a little baby, I vaguely remember him. And he must, I don't know what was the matter, but his little toe got a little blister on it, and it got the bleeding, and they never could stop it. Nowadays, of course, they would stop it. But then Mama had no way. The daddy had the meat market in Hamilton, and she said she had no way to get in touch with anybody. She had a telephone, but one of these that you ground out. I believe they had that then. But anyway, it was too late when they finally somebody came. I don't know. He must have had some kind of blood problem anyway. And his name was Bernard Lamar. And then later on, when we lived over here at Cataula, where we lived from then on after Daddy built that house, she had a little girl named Thelma Louise, and she also died when she was just a few weeks old. I don't know. Mama said she sneezed one day, and that was it. She never did wake up. I can remember the doctor coming over there at the time. But anyway, that was 3 children that my mother had lost. And then Raymond came along when I was 12 years old, when Raymond was born. But Mama said she always was afraid when she was going to have one that it was going to die. So, but I just wouldn't die. I was too tough, I reckon. And Raymond, he was a puny little baby, but he managed to make it. Now, the first thing Mama did when she started getting a little Social Security money, I believe, she had the 3 little graves. I don't know why these children were buried at the Haynes Church Cemetery. My mother and father were both members of Rehoboth Baptist Church. But her Mama never did that. That was a primitive Baptist church down there. And I remember going to one of them's funeral, Uncle Ben holding me in his arms up at the funeral. But it worries me about that cemetery because it's so neglected now. And I wish that the county would try to maintain these little cemeteries because they are history. And sometimes there's only reference that people have about their families. And I guess every family has a few anecdotes that they've told over and over in the family. And I know that we have a few. And this is something else. This is not an anecdote. I just thought about that the little red chair that is here. It's put up in the closet because Grant said children nowadays are too rough for things like that. Anyway, that was my little red chair. And Daddy took a wagon load of apples to town once to sell them when I was a very little girl. And he bought me that little chair. And on the way back, it rained, of course, and it got wet, and it turned into always had kind of a little white film on it. But, of course, in recent years, I painted it over after I took it away from Daddy's house. But that was always my little chair, and I was a selfish little bitty girl. When little children would come there, I wouldn't let them sit in my chair. Not surprising. And then I know Mama used to tell me about once a family who worked at the heading mill named Swan. lived in the house with them when they lived at the Granberry Place. And they had a little girl named Myrtle. And she kept coming in there to play with me. And I bit her one day. And her mama was very, very upset because that happened. And as I've already said, that my cousin Neal was the most fun of anything. He must have been a good-sized boy. He must have been at least about 12 or 14. He used to come up to our house. And I know one Christmas he came up there. Santa Claus put him some oranges in his shoes. And one night he says, "Uncle Doc, I'm going to sleep with you." And Daddy said, "Oh, no, you're not." He said, "Oh, yes, I am." And he crawled over there in Daddy's bed. Daddy could stand to sleep with people. And he stayed there. He wouldn't get out of Daddy's bed. And one time he decided, he must have seen or read about in South Georgia where they have the turpentine trees, pines. They have these big gashes they cut in them. They call them cat heads. And then they have a bucket hung under there to catch the rosin that goes in there, where they make turpentine out of it. So he decided we were going to do that to the trees out back of the house. So he gets an auger, and we drill some holes in the trees and put some tin cans under it. Boy, Daddy got us about that, because we were going to kill the trees. And Neal used to go off and hunt, kill the rabbit. Came in there and wanted Mama to cook it, and Mama couldn't stand to cook things like that. But he got it all fixed up, and Mama cooked it, and he got to cutting the crazy at the table that night, and knocked the lamp chimney off, and broke it all in his rabbit, so he couldn't eat the rabbit anyhow. And we've all heard the story about, we had a little narrow doorway that led from the dining room to the kitchen. And it was just cut in the corner so you could go into the kitchen. And Mama dried apples every year. And then she hung them in a sack up on the wall of the kitchen. And Daddy went in that little door one night, and he felt something touch him. It felt just like a man. It was this sack full of apples, but he didn't know it, so he doubled up his fist and let him have it. He thought, and we all thought that was the funniest thing we ever saw. My daddy was funny. One time, somebody was in the bed and had a hot water bottle. and you know how, when they get cold, how they feel. Daddy got in the bed that night and stuck his feet down there, and something cold hit his feet, and he came out of there to the middle of the floor. He thought it was a snake in the bed. None of these things are funny to tell them, but they were funny to us when it happened. And I know Raymond one time, he was a little baby. Mama had to keep the lamp burning. Well, she had to keep it burning for me, too. Had it up on the mantelpiece burning. Anyway, the lamp gave out of oil, kerosene, and it went out. And Raymond woke up in the middle of the night. Mama, there's no light. And Mama said, "Well, shut your eyes and you won't know the difference." He said, "They may be shut." We thought that was funny. Raymond one time when he was little, he wrote all over it was on his birthday, and he was on his veil of being ugly. And he wrote on the front porch floor with a pencil just marked all over it. And Mama made him get a little pan of water and wash it up. And all that time he was crying and bawling, saying, "I thought I was going to have a birthday." And it looks to me, and we had that same lamp burning when I was little. And the next morning, the chimney was hot when those lamps burned a while. The chimney got real hot. You couldn't handle it till you let it cool. And that was one of my jobs when I was a little girl, was washing the lamp chimneys and getting them clean. And of course I could still get my hand in the lamp chimney. But I was sitting down on the floor taking up ashes in front of the hearth. And Mama dropped the lamp chimney. It was hot, and it cut my knee. And I started hollering, "Well, I'm going to bleed to death." And they had to get the doctor over there, And they didn't have sutures in those days. They just took a stitch. I've still got that scar on my knee with one stitch taken there. I think it was about that time I had a whooping cough and I was staying out of school anyhow. And I went around stiff-legged for a while. Sickness and disease. Every once in a while there'd be something go through the schools, but I can't remember ever having anything but maybe chicken pox. And it was, we didn't have to take shots in those days. We did have to take typhoid fever shots. And because there was that occurred occasionally in those days. Not anymore, I think. But nobody wanted to take them. Arm would be sore and this and that. Ever so many years we did. Now, one of the main things in my childhood, it seems to me like, was thunderstorms. We just had terrible ones. Nearly every afternoon in the summer. And it'd be hot. Mama'd be out gathering vegetables and digging potatoes and stringing beans and cutting off corn and all of that to get dinner ready. By 12 o'clock, then you had to eat. I don't know how women lived in those days. And it'd start thundering about 1 o'clock. And about 3 or 4, but man, it would get right. And I was so scared of these storms. And we had Daddy after they had a bad tornado up around Chipley, not the first one, but I think it was the last one they had. Everybody got scared, and Daddy dug us a storm pit. And it was out in what used to be his garage. Had this building built over it. And it was a hole dug down in the ground. They had great big split logs on top, and then dirt put on top of that. Then he had a door that let down. He had 2 benches down there. Boy, we went in there lots of times. But the funny thing, the men wouldn't go in there. They'd stay up there and watch the storm. I don't know how they would have gotten in there if it had come. But fleas got in that place, and that kind of got us to where we didn't care to go down there because they would cover you when you went down there. Because Mom and Daddy finally weren't scared, I reckon, and they covered that over. But there's a hole down in that ground under that. Well, I don't even believe the building. The building's not there anymore, I think. That rain and took it all down. But I can remember Mama had to go milk the cows late every afternoon. And she wouldn't let me learn how to milk. I wanted to. I wanted to milk that cow so bad. She said, no, if you don't ever learn to milk, you'll never have to milk a cow. So I never did get to do it. But I would go out and hang on the gate while she was milking the cow. And I can remember we would walk to church in the summertime. And coming back, Daddy would carry me piggyback. And we didn't go up in the car. We walked. We didn't even have a car then, I think. First car we ever had, I think it first belonged to Dr. Hudson. The doctors always got a car first. And you had to stop every few miles and clean off the spark plugs. Now, that's no joke. Because I was little then, and kids didn't learn to drive when they were 15 then anyway. I think I was about 18 before I ever learned how to drive. I came across notes that I had made, and I don't think I put them on tape. They were just some of my very earliest recollections of when I couldn't have been over 3 years old, when we lived at the Granberry Place. That house had I don't know, I can't describe exactly how it was, but it had been a show place. And it had flowers, wreaths of flowers painted on the ceiling. The ceiling was wood, I think. But I remember something about it, and I remember Mama giving me a sweet potato to eat, and it was put on a magazine that had a picture of Santa Claus on it. And that's funny how little things like that will stick in your mind. Mama told me, and I imagined that I remember it, maybe I don't, that one time this house had a high back porch, high steps, and a lot of them. And she said I was sitting in my buggy, big old baby carriage type thing, and I rolled off the porch and down those steps. And she said I was saying whoop, 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 and I went all the way down. And I think she was probably trying to catch me. But one of the rooms in that house, it had what they call L's, 2 rooms stuck out in the front, on each side of the entrance. And one of them, the chimney, had fallen or was about to fall, because I knew I was never allowed to walk around it. I remember that much about it. And one night, we caught on, there was some linseed oil stored in there. They had built-in wardrobes, didn't have closets. They had things that looked like a piece of furniture built into the room. And this stuff caught on fire. And Daddy, fortunately, had a rain barrel out there, and he was able to put it out. So one day it hadn't burned the house all the way up. But I even remember the rain barrel sitting out there. And I know that I was scared. We had some turkeys, and I was scared to death of them. And I would scream and holler every time I wouldn't go out in the yard. I remember how scared I was of those turkeys, because they would, get big, get the tail out and everything when you come out. And Mama had to carry water from it seemed like a long ways, kind of down the hill. And she would go to get water, and I would stand in the door and holler and squall. I must have been awful. And she would, she said she knew that well must have been unsanitary because it was too close to the horse lot. But one time, when my daddy's family lived over there, years before, Daddy told me about that he and his sister went to a dance one night. That's before they ain't really married. And said they came back, they heard a moaning, and they just heard it all down in the big oak trees around the house, and it sounded just like somebody moaning. And they tried to look to see if there was anybody down there, and they found out later that it was the wires, telephone wires, that was making that noise. There was a colored boy named Jesse Pitts, and he used to go down that road from the house down toward the railroad, playing a homemade flute, and it was the most beautiful sound in the world. I can remember it to this day. And after Dick and I married, we lived in Columbus. We lived downtown there in various places. There was a man that played a flute like that on the streets of Columbus. He couldn't do such a thing now, of course, but I can remember that. It's this very beautiful sound. Oh, and another thing that frightened me so when I was a very little child was the train. It would go down there on that crossing, just like it goes now. There was a lot more trains then. In fact, there was one went up in the morning, came and one came down about 11 o'clock. That's when Mama started cooking the cornbread every day. And then another one went up about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and came back down from Atlanta about 8 o'clock that night. Because I reckon the one that went up in the morning is the one that came back that night. We had 4 passenger trains. And then, of course, there were various freight trains coming along. But I can remember hollering and screaming when I hear the train go along. And to this day, I'm scared of trains. I mean, they are frightening monsters. And especially they were then, because they were steam engines. And they had all that stuff coming out of them, cinders falling and all of that. If you rode in the train, cinders would fall into windows. And they had a smell that nothing else in the world did. I don't think a lot of people are too familiar with trains anymore, and certainly not that kind of trains. But Mama used to, she and I, when I was very, very little, would walk up the railroad from the Granberry Place to Cataula to visit her family. And she told me one time the train almost caught us over there. There were little trestles. Now, there was, not a big trestle between there and Cataula, but there were little ones. And I was always totally miserable when I was walking on the railroad, even though you could see a train coming and hear it too. But I didn't want to be in its tracks. Now I thought of somebody else who deserves a little mention around here, because they did play a part in my life. Now, I've talked about my cousin Neal, but I haven't talked about his sister, Johnnie Lee. Now, they were Uncle Bi's children. Johnnie Lee was the older one. And when she was a little girl, very little, I think, Uncle Bi and Aunt Ida lived over in Alabama somewhere, and Uncle Bi worked for the railroad at that time. And that's when Johnnie Lee and Neal were little. And Daddy was so crazy about Johnnie Lee that he went over there and brought her back to visit with him one time, Mama said. And he thought she was a sweet little girl. That's before they had any children. But later on, after she began to grow up, and they lived in Columbus, I reckon she was what you call the homeliest thing. She was the first person I ever knew of who wore braces on her teeth. Nobody did that in those days. And she had some kind of adenoids or something made her teeth protrude. And I just have a vague memory of her having braces on her teeth. And then she eventually had, I think, lost those front teeth and had some kind of dental work in the front of her mouth. But she had a grace and a charm that I can't describe. Lucille used to say that she was so charming to her that just all she could do to keep from going by her house every chance she had when she lived in Columbus. But I don't know if she, I can't describe it, but she did. She had grace and charm, and she knew how to get husbands. The funny thing, though, about her was that Aunt Ida, of course, went to curtains, and Johnnie Lee always had beautiful clothes. And she was engaged to be married to a boy, a young man from Birmingham. I think his father was some sort of a railroad official or something. His name was Avery. I think that was his first name. I don't know what his last name was. Anyway, Aunt Ida had bought her all this beautiful trousseau. And I came home from school one afternoon when I was a little girl, and sitting on our front porch was Johnnie Lee and a real good-looking, black-eyed, black-headed young man. And it turned out that the day before, even though she was engaged to this other guy and expecting to be married very soon. Her brother Neal and his girlfriend, Florine Haynes, and I think she was about 15 years old at the time, Florine was. And Johnnie Lee and Charlie Lynn, this guy that she married, had eloped. And they had a double wedding somewhere in Alabama, I guess. I don't know what made them do that. But she was scared to death that Avery was going to come and kill her. And so she came off up to Daddy's house to escape from Columbus. And you know, for years she was afraid that he was going to come and kill her. I don't know why he would, but I can remember that she was always nervous about it. Didn't know what he might do. He might come and kill her. He must have not been right bright. I never saw him. But anyway, Charlie was policeman, and he was a very good-looking man. And they had a boy, little Charlie, they called him. And Charlie, though, was at sometimes stabbed by a black man in his back or something. He thought that caused him to have a crippling condition. So he finally had to leave the police department and stop being a policeman. Then they ran a little cafe. But anyway, before that, or after that, she had another child, a girl named Elizabeth. Now, Charlie passed on. He worked for the telephone company. And he had a beautiful wife that he met at the University of Georgia, even up there. And one daughter, because I don't know what else became of them. But Johnnie Lee Charlie, she got divorced from him. And he was over in the Veterans Hospital over in Tuskegee, I think, and when he passed on. I didn't keep up too much with him then. But I swear, if she didn't meet this old Marine guy, he was a Marine recruiter in Columbus, named Walter Schumann. And she married him. And Walter said he was happy as he could be with Johnnie. He was a strange old bachelor. He didn't hardly, I guess, had no family. I never heard of him. He had been in the Marines so long. That's the way of a lot of those people. And so they lived in Columbus a long time. And then Elizabeth had met this boy down at Montezuma and married him. And I've never seen her but once since then. She had several children. And Johnnie Lee passed on. She and Walter had moved down to Montezuma and bought a house and all. They were always buying houses and fixing them up. And so the last I heard, Walter was crazy about those grandchildren, and it gave him an interesting life, I guess. And after Johnnie Lee passed on, he stayed down there with them. He's probably gone on by now. I haven't heard any more from him in many years. But I tell you, that woman was smart. She could do anything. I mean, she could make the most beautiful meals you ever saw. And, but she'd tell a story on you. She used to say about her mother, Aunt Ida would everybody took her advice about fashion. And if you knew anything about something, Aunt Ida said that you shouldn't, it turned out that it wasn't the right thing for you to get. And I've seen her up there. These old beauties are coming in, looking for Miss Grant to help them As soon as they go, she turned around and said, that old so-and-so. But I thought, see, I didn't have any cousins except Johnnie Lee and Neal, because Uncle Ben and Uncle Emmett didn't have any children. And then on Mama's side, only had Jimmy's children. But Mother Ben, of course, and Josephine. So I wasn't too much blessed with cousins. But Johnnie Lee and Neal played a big part in my life. And Neal and Florine, they stayed together all those years. They had 2 children, Lillian and Byron. And Byron is the one that seemed Florine worked real hard and gave him music lessons and everything. And he was a musician and he taught at Baker for a while. Then he went to New York and he directs plays and all that. He's a professional person. And then Lillian, she, I think, in second marriage, she married a man down to Memphis. Raymond said she came to his house not too long ago. I didn't like her too much. Now, my other cousin, Lucille Johnson, Aunt Willie's daughter, was, I reckon, the most important cousin I had.